Welcome, you brilliantly curious minds, to the deep dive. Today, we're unlocking some serious creative power. We're diving into Storyteller's Handbook, crafting compelling narratives by the insightful Bill Vincent. And we're really excited to explore this guide. It's published by RWG Publishing, which is, well, it's just a fantastic resource for anyone looking to really get a handle on the art of narrative.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And our mission here really is to pull out the most important nuggets of knowledge and insight from this book. Think of it as a shortcut for you to get you well informed about making your stories truly resonate.
Yeah, shortcut through all that wisdom.
Exactly.
Hmm.
And what's truly fascinating, I think, is how Vincent takes, millennia of storytelling wisdom and boils it down into actionable advice. This isn't just theory. It's about giving you, whether you're just starting out or maybe you're a seasoned creator or heck, even just someone wanting to communicate better, it gives you a practical guide to crafting narratives that actually make an impact.
Taking us behind the curtain. I like that.
Yeah, what makes a story unforgettable?
Okay, so Vincent kicks things off saying, storytelling is a profoundly collaborative human endeavor. Now, that sounds a bit lofty, maybe.
Yeah.
But what he's really getting at, I think, for us as creators is that we're not just like dumping information on people, we're inviting them in.
Right, participation.
Yeah. When we craft a story, you, the audience, you're not just sitting back, you're engaging. Like the book says, players do not merely roll dice or move pieces, their characters see, feel, act. You're building a world for them.
Exactly. And that invitation, the power of it is huge. Stories, at their heart, they offer spontaneous adventure, poignant romance, constant wonder, and grandeur. But what makes your story stand out? What makes it more than just, this happened and that happened? It's your unique voice, the storyteller's voice.
That specific perspective.
That's what brings it alive, makes it resonate.
And it's not just fun and games, is it? Vincent makes this point that really stuck with me. A piece of yourself is embedded within each story you tell. It sounds kind of obvious, maybe, but do you think sometimes writers get so caught up in clever plots or perfect structure that they forget that like essential personal connection?
Oh, absolutely. It's easy to get lost in the mechanics. But Vincent pulls us back, reminding us that the deepest impact comes from that genuine personal imprint. He kind of challenges us, what raw truth, what part of us are we really putting out there to make this story connect on a human level?
Beyond just the facts and figures.
Right. And this isn't just for novelists or screenwriters. If you think bigger picture, this applies everywhere. Companies, their whole culture, their values, it's built on stories.
Interesting. Like company culture as a narrative.
Totally. These narratives shape how people act, what they believe, how they understand things. They actually drive the culture.
Okay, so once we get that foundational power, the handbook jumps into the building blocks, right? The nuts and bolts.
You gotta have the foundation first.
It starts with things like timing and causality. Vincent really emphasizes that we, as humans, we look for reasons. We need to know why it happened and how it occurred.
We hate randomness.
Yeah. That unbearable anxiety about events that seem to happen for no reason. So our stories need those connections.
Yep.
Clear cause and effect, not just a bunch of coincidences.
Which leads right into character development. The book gives some great advice here. Consideration of what you want and expect from your character is important. It's not just, okay, this is the hero. It's about their personality, their interests, dreams, and desires. That's what makes them vivid, captivating.
Right, you can give someone a high stat like strength or whatever, but if they don't have a personality.
They're just a number. Exactly, we need that depth.
And once you have these compelling characters, they need something to do, a journey. Which brings us to plot structure. Vincent points out that even ancient stuff like Homer's Iliad and Odyssey, they were masterclasses in using narration, using structure to tell stories and explore themes.
Shows that good structure is timeless. Really, it's baked into how we understand things unfolding.
And that structure needs a place to happen. Setting and world building. These are just as crucial.
Oh, definitely. The book says something like, stories standing over their settings become just a set of drawings. They look nice, but they lack personality.
Yeah.
You need those thought-out places with themed names.
Places that feel lived in.
Right, and adapted to their purpose in the story. But here's a key thing he pushes, original content. He asks, why shouldn't one try original and fresh content?
Yeah, get away from the same old tropes.
Exactly. Your audience wants new ingredients, stuff that pushes the imagination, not just stale leftovers.
Okay, those are all really solid foundations. But let's talk practicality. You've got the basics, but how do you actually put them into motion, especially when you hit, a wall?
Ugh, the dreaded writer's block. Yeah, every storyteller hits that. Vincent gives us the what, but also the how. Like, for building tension and emotional impact, he uses that great line, when you're up to your posterior in alligators, it is tough to focus on draining the swamp.
Huh. Yeah, I remember that.
It sounds funny, but it's a sharp reminder that urgency, usually driven by conflict, is what keeps people hooked. It's the engine.
It really is. Conflict creates that immediate need. Something has to happen now. And it doesn't have to be like world-ending stakes all the time.
No, not at all. Small victories matter. The stakes can be emotional, internal, not just physical danger.
Okay, so how does he break down conflict?
Well, the handbook details different types of conflict. You've got internal conflict, that's the struggle inside a character's head, doubt, fear, moral choices.
Character versus self?
Right. Then there's external conflict forces outside the character, like other people, nature, society. The best stories often mix these. Inner struggles get amplified by outer pressures.
Makes sense. They feed each other.
And here's a neat insight. Needs are another stimulus for conflict. So much of story is just about people trying to get what they deeply want or need and the friction that causes.
Basic human desires driving the plot.
Pretty much. And the big goal for a lot of this is creating emotional impact. The handbook calls this a story's weapon of mass destruction, which is intense.
Whoa, okay.
But it means it's a tool for altering the way people think and view their own beliefs. It defines the story's core message. Even simple fairy tales, they aim for some kind of moral lesson through emotion.
So every story carries some emotional weight, even light ones.
Exactly. It resonates somehow.
Speaking of resonance, let's talk characters again. Crafting memorable characters. Vincent is really clear here, isn't he?
Oh, yeah. He says, giving life to the characters is the most important aspect of your narration. Flat out.
And his advice is pretty down to earth. Base them on real people, look at history, but steer clear of cliches.
Right. They need depth, significance, internal logic, their own dreams, ambitions, and a well-defined behavior. Give them a backstory, even the minor ones. Makes them feel solid.
I found that really useful, the idea that even if the audience never sees the whole biography you wrote for a character, you knowing it makes them act more consistently, more realistically.
Totally. That internal logic.
Yeah.
Which flows right into character arcs, how characters learn, how they grow, face challenges, and hopefully reach some understanding or resolution.
And that inciting incident is key to starting that arc, right? That moment that just changes everything.
Yep, like Luke Skywalker finding his aunt and uncle. Game over for his old life. Everything shifts. That propels the arc.
And for those arcs to work, you need to understand character motivations, what drives them.
Exactly. The book suggests writing up biographical sketches, focusing on things that shape their core drives. It even digs into psychological factors like reciprocity, consistency, social proof.
Whoa, getting technical.
A little. But it's about using those real-world human drivers to make your fictional character's motivations feel deeper, more convincing. Pulls the reader right in.
Deeper motivations. That sounds like it connects to how they talk, too. Dialogue and unique voices.
Absolutely. Vincent says, words give us things to think about. Dialogue isn't just filler. It reveals mindset, it controls pacing, and crucially, it shows the cracks within your character.
Shows their flaws, their quirks.
Yeah, it's where they really act with words, which ties into writing authentic dialogue.
Yeah.
It has to sound real, not like some robot reading lines.
Right, not wooden.
It needs to pass information naturally, move the story forward, and sound like that specific character would actually say it. The writer has to be like part performer, part listener, part wordsmith.
Getting the dialect, the rhythm right.
Exactly. Which is why developing unique voices is so important. The book says, if you know who they are, their speech will reflect them.
And it gives that great example. What was it? Look, do you mind starting again? Versus, well, don't like the sound of that much.
Yeah. Instantly different characters. Adds depth. Lets you, the reader, hear them without needing he said, she said all the time. Makes them feel like real people.
Okay, this is fantastic stuff. We're really getting into the meat of Vincent's handbook here, but honestly, we've only scratched the surface.
Oh, for sure. There's so much more packed in there.
So if you're finding these insights useful, if you're intrigued by how to shape your narratives like this, you absolutely need to get your hands on the full book.
Yeah, this book really gives you a complete framework. It goes way deeper into all this with practical, actionable advice. To keep going on this journey, unlock even more techniques, we really encourage you hit that Amazon link in our show notes right now.
Seriously, it's an investment in your craft. You won't regret it.
Definitely not.
Okay, picking back up. Let's talk about pacing and rhythm. how the story feels as it moves.
Vincent stresses these aren't just about, like, chapter length or word count. They're driven by internal events, the thoughts and feelings of characters.
Ah, so it's emotional pacing.
Yeah, more about distributing that emotional intensity. It's not a rigid formula. It's more like the story's heartbeat.
So how do you manage that, managing pacing for impact?
Well, the book brings up classic structures. The three-act structure, beginning, middle, end, is the basic one. But also things like Freytag's five-act pyramid, rising action, climax, falling action.
Frameworks to guide the emotional journey.
Exactly. Tools to help you control that flow.
And Vincent has that great example for utilizing rhythm for effect. The hero's journey. He was in a town, he went to a cave, he killed some monsters, and then he came back as a hero. Simple, right?
Sounds like a basic quest.
But then he points out, maybe the hero spent months in town, only a week fighting monsters, but then years were spent telling the tale of his deeds.
Ah, so the time spent in the story isn't equal to the time spent on the page.
Exactly. It's not equal time. It's about emphasis. A preponderance in one direction, giving weight to the parts that matter most.
That makes a lot of sense. Okay, next up, the handbook tackles genre, style, and world building. Big topics.
Huge. Let's start with genre. What's Vincent's take?
He makes a really practical point. Knowing genre conventions is typically more important than valiantly struggling to create new ones.
Interesting. So don't reinvent the wheel necessarily.
Kind of. Genre is like a label or a map. It sets expectations for the reader. If you're writing sci-fi, people expect certain things. It's a shared language.
Okay, but you don't want to be too predictable. What about developing personal style?
Right. You work within the genre, but make it your own. The book suggests learning by emulating your heroes first. Study how they do it.
Learn the craft from the masters.
Yeah. And then, over time, you will develop and internalize your own filters and parameters. Your unique voice starts to come through. You learn the rules. Then you know how to bend them effectively.
Finding your own flavor. I like that.
And that style needs a place to live. World-building techniques. This is crucial. The book starts with the big questions. Where's the whole thing going to take place? And what time scale are you working on?
Setting the stage. The basics.
Yeah, consciously designing the container for your story. Big city, tiny village, future, past.
And it's not just geography, right? It's cultural systems, too.
Exactly. Stories define what is and what was for society. They share the rights, mores, and obligations.
Like the example of a thief's story reinforcing property rights.
It shows the consequences. Even without formal laws, it shapes the culture.
And then there's the physical world, geographical considerations. Settings aren't just pretty pictures.
No way. They create limits, they offer opportunities. The book has that great image. A leaky lifeboat in a storm-swept prairie is likely to make matters rather more difficult than a lifeboat stuck in the Arctic Ocean.
Yeah, context is everything. The environment directly shapes the action.
It's a dynamic relationship.
Okay, shifting gears slightly. Let's get a little deeper. Symbolism and themes.
Ooh, good stuff. Vincent talks about that deep feeling we frequently have for symbols. They pack a punch. They carry a great deal of the tale's message within them. Could be a simple image, like a rose, or something abstract, like justice. They hit us on an emotional, sometimes unconscious level.
Conveying meaning without spelling it out.
Precisely. And symbols often connect the universal themes. The book throws out this powerful idea. Life should be seen as the act of story.
Wow. Okay, unpack that.
It quotes Norbert Wiener and Alfred Hitchcock, basically saying the best stories work as metaphors for the whole human experience, even if they're just set in one small place, like a living room.
So they tap into something fundamental about being human.
Exactly. That's why they resonate across time and cultures.
And underlying almost all these resonant stories, we're back to the role of conflict resolution.
Can't escape it. The handbook is blunt. Conflict is an absolutely necessary part of any story. Without it, there is no plot, no suspense, no reason for characters and readers to care.
It's the engine. Still the engine.
Still the engine. And conflict needs solving. The book covers resolving external and internal conflicts.
How they play off each other.
Yeah, like how Starbuck's internal doubts in Moby Dick mirrored the external fight against the whale. It adds complexity, shows character depth, makes it richer.
Okay, so structure holds it all together. Narrative, structure, and organization.
Right. Back to structure. It covers the basic three-act structure setup, confrontation, resolution, Aristotle 101.
The classic.
But also more complex models, like Joseph Campbell's monomyth, the hero's journey. that pattern you see in myths and stories everywhere.
Showing how stories and personal growth are linked.
Yeah. Then it gets into linear versus nonlinear narratives, like parallel stories happening at the same time, or serial stories following different people whose paths eventually cross.
Playing with time.
Exactly. And using tools like flashbacks and foreshadowing. Foreshadowing is huge in mysteries, obviously.
Right.
But the book warns, clarity in the prophecy is fatal.
Ah. If you make the hints too obvious, you kill the suspense.
You got it. Ambiguity is your friend there. Hint, don't reveal everything.
Okay, last big building block. Creating immersive environments. Making the world feel real.
Yes, this is about engaging the senses. Sensory details, sight, sound, smell, taste, touch, weight. They anchor characters in their environment.
Makes it feel tangible.
It's the flavor, filling, or ambiance. Turns a bland description into something vibrant, pulls the reader in, makes you feel like you're there.
And you do that through utilizing descriptive language.
Absolutely. The book really pushes you to avoid cliches, the easy descriptions, experiment, find a lush tapestry of words.
Be a wordsmith.
Yeah, use that thesaurus. Find original ways to paint pictures, capture the scene, the characters, the mood, make every word work hard.
Okay, we've built the story. Now we got to polish it and get it out there. Final part of our deep dive.
The home stretch.
The power of endings. Vincent stresses how vital these are. Endings can alter the meaning of everything that came before them.
Whoa. It's true, though. It's the last impression left on the story. A weak ending can just deflate the whole experience.
Absolutely. Ruin an otherwise great ride. So crafting satisfying conclusions is key.
It's about providing closure, fulfilling the promise you made to the reader at the start. The climax resolves the main conflict, and then the denouement gives that sense of, okay, it's settled.
Tying up loose ends.
Right. Leaving the audience feeling satisfied, like the journey meant something.
But sometimes the best endings aren't neat little bows, right? Leaving room for interpretation.
The book touches on that too. Sometimes incomplete identity allows the audience to mentally inhabit the character. Leaving some ambiguity lets the reader chew on it, engage their own imagination.
Too much detail can be unwanted. Takes away the mystery.
Exactly. You got to find that balance.
Oh, yeah. Before sharing, there's the hard work. Revision and editing techniques.
The real work, some might say. Vincent warns us, don't just rely on spell check. It misses context, can even mess things up.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that happen.
He recommends combining your own review with getting feedback. Because, as he says, you can't edit your own writing well unless you review it with a fresh eye. You're too close to it.
That fresh eye is crucial for self-editing strategies. Looking at the big picture first, right? Structure, flow.
Yeah, structural organization. Then getting down to the nano-awareness, cutting jargon, making sure every sentence is clear, checking that the story actually does what you intended it to do. Does every paragraph pull its weight?
It's layers of refinement.
Layers. And you shouldn't do it in a vacuum. Seeking feedback and critique, this is non-negotiable, according to the handbook.
Why so strong on that?
Because, quote, do not ever for any reason believe that your vision is perfect. Ouch. But true. Your audience, your peers, other writers, they see things you miss. They are invaluable.
It's not weakness, it's wisdom to listen.
Exactly. They help you solve the puzzles you're stuck on.
All right, it's polished, it's ready. Publishing and sharing your work.
Getting it out there. The handbook gives some practical pointers. Platforms like Drive-Thru-PG if you're doing, say, game narratives or rules-heavy stuff.
Yeah.
Or just running your own blog, but use good SEO so people can find you and your original content.
Makes sense. Be discoverable.
And then there's building an audience. You need to know who you're talking to, what they like, what do they expect.
Tailoring the experience.
Yeah. The book says make sure your surroundings are appropriate to your audience and select a location and time that complements your tale and promotes the spell.
Promotes the spell. I like that. It's about creating the right atmosphere for the story to land.
Totally. A grim tale might work great for a certain group, but tell it around a campfire to kids. The spell's broken. It's about that connection, that empathy with your audience.
Well, what a journey through Bill Vincent's Storyteller's Handbook. That was quite the deep dive.
It really was, packed with insights.
The final thoughts in the book really bring it home, don't they? Storytelling is a craft. You hone it through practice, through thinking about it like this.
And the book's goal, ultimately, to plant seeds of knowledge about reality, of the potential for shared optimism, and of the rewards of empathy through the stories you tell.
That's a pretty profound goal.
It is. So what does all this mean for you listening right now? It means you have this incredible power. the power to tell compelling narratives and to make people care and think.
These aren't just tricks for writers, they're fundamental human tools.
Exactly.
Hmm.
Communication, civilization, it's built on this stuff. So
Yeah.
the handbook encourages you. Keep creating. Revisit these ideas. Keep learning.
And maybe the real satisfaction, the deepest kind, isn't just telling the story. It's knowing you're inviting people to walk by your side, experiencing and feeling the events that you have laid out.
Becoming a traveler of the mind.
Yeah. So,
Cool.
what kind of journey are you going to invite people on next? That's the big question, isn't it?
It is. And remember, we've really just opened the cover of Storyteller's Handbook, Crafting Compelling Narratives by Bill Vincent. There's so much more inside.
Oh, absolutely. If you found this discussion valuable, seriously, imagine what the full book could do for your storytelling.
We can't recommend it enough. Find that link to purchase it on Amazon right there in our show notes. Go check it out.
Please do. Thank you so much for listening to the Deep Dive podcast. Keep creating, keep exploring those worlds.
And keep telling those stories.
We'll see you on the next Deep Dive.